When does the fetus become living?
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it. Because it's living. It's living.
How about you let her speak?
You're fundamentally denying science to validate your opinion.
You actively deny science, ma'am.
How am I denying? What science did I deny, Darby?
Okay, so let's look at some posters over here.
But
you don't have to be here.
I need you to tell me what science. You just made an accusation that I denied science. What science did I deny?
That it's a child inside of you. It is a clump of cells when
I'm a clump of cells. What makes me different?
That you were born. You were born.
So you don't. What you're arguing is that anything that is not born is not valuable of life.
I did not say that.
Yo, no disrespect.
I'm not a woman, I have a womb. And she said this with a straight face. I love how they all stand up and start yelling as if no is a valid argument that doesn't just make them look like they're a power-tripping group.
If there was one thing that you wish men understood better about women, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Pick your damn clothes up off the floor.
What was that again? I couldn't hear.
Pick your damn clothes up off the floor.
Okay. Why can't women just remember to leave the damn toilet seat up?
You know, that's a great question. Goes both ways.
Okay. Okay. Women often talk about hormones influencing their emotions and behavior. Why are there some women who shame men for being horny when testosterone is a male hormone?
These interview questions seem super sexist, and I'm not going to continue this. Thanks so much, though.
Doesn't it go both ways, though?
They seem all pretty sexist.
What? What the fuck?
It goes both ways. This statement has been used so many times to divert from answering questions. This lady knew she was caught off guard and had no answer, so she devised a way to end the interview. They claim to be woke, but still live in the past.
I will ask you how old you are, okay? Because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So
I'm 22, so I'm probably young and naive, right?
No, why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60? Why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just...
You're right, age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Obviously, you can change your name, you can change your sex, you can change your identity.
Just because you can do things legally doesn't mean that they are correct biologically. You could do lots of things in the past that were incorrect biologically and correct legally.
Boom. Bam. Bop. Bada bop. Boom. Pow.
She got humbled so quickly. Yes, age might be less important than gender, but they use the same logic. You can't change your age legally because that's just not possible. And you can't change your gender because that's not how you were born. Just because you can doesn't mean you should suits here so well.
What gender do you think I am?
I would assume you're female.
Yeah, so you're making assumptions.
Yes.
I identify as non-binary.
I don't, respectfully, that doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Now, let me ask you this. What pronoun should I use?
You should use they, them pronouns. So you saying that you
and
don't
what if I don't?
Me,
what if I don't?
If you don't, I would consider that disrespectful, and that's actually an act of violence to misgender, trans.
It's an act of violence.
That is an act of violence to intentionally misgender someone, yes.
Here we come to the issue, and this is why I'm out here. You just said that's an act of violence. That means it's an actionable offense. That means it's a crime.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It's an act of violence to misgender someone. I'm sure she wrote that law herself. You don't compel someone to believe what you believe. Everyone has a choice, and if they choose not to follow your path, it's not a crime, it's their choice.
Why are you destroying private property? That's not cool. You just can't take down other people's ideas because you disagree with the idea of it. If your guys' ideas are so fragile they can never be challenged without you ripping down that, I think that says more about your ideas than his.
She has a point. Yes.
Happy. Posters aren't supposed to be on the lamppost. You need to have permission to place.
Like how your flyer is on the pole?
Strike two.
So the only free speech that's allowed to happen is yours. Is that what you're saying?
Are you just gonna stand there?
I'm not going to interact with you. If you want interaction, it's not going to happen.
Never been much for confrontation.
But you won't come and ask him a question.
You scared of him?
Go put out the fire, come on.
Just so you can tear them down again?
Yep!
There's still plenty up, aren't there?
We're not taking down your flyers. We're not covering up your flyers. I don't know why you feel the need to take ours down.
This woman is a perfect example on how to confront someone in a very civil and calm way. Not only does she not raise her voice, but the point hits immediately and leaves no room for a counter. Those kids look so lost when confronted with logic and facts. This is the most respectful disrespect I've ever seen.
Liberals want to be around each other and cluster, and conservatives don't want to be around each other, and so they have to spread out. It makes people, you may not see this from, like the ivory towers of your law school, but it makes actual people in this country feel like, excuse me, you don't get to interrupt me on this time. Now, let me also suggest that when you invoke the president's son's name here, when you try to make a little joke out of referencing Barron Trump, that does not lend credibility to your argument. It makes you look mean. It makes you look like you're attacking someone's family, the minor child of the President of the United States. So let's see if we can get into the facts. To all of the witnesses, if you have personal knowledge of a single material fact in the Schiff report, please raise your hand. And let the record reflect.
Nice.
When they attack you personally, it means they have nothing of substance left to say about the topic of discussion. The way he shut her down was beautiful. That look of stunned shock was priceless.
I'm very glad that none of these opinions are actually accepted in academia and haven't been for over 70 years. Sent this here on Twitter.
Okay, so the notion that they haven't been accepted for over 70 years is a bizarre one, considering they were accepted until about 5 minutes ago. And the basic idea that male and female do not exist runs counter to all mammalian biology, all of it, not just human. Are we to suggest that gender and sex are different in walruses? How does this work exactly? Like, are they different in bears? Anytime you have all mammalian reproduction is rooted in the idea that there's a sexual dichotomy between male and female. To obscure that with all sorts of semantic word games about how you feel subjectively has no bearing on whether male and female are categories that exist. And if you're trying to define male and female with reference to any subjective category that cannot be identified by any metric whatsoever other than how you feel today, I challenge whether that is scientific or whether that is merely a self-perception that is being guided by a political agenda.
That was the most polite and scientifically worded shut your mouth I've ever heard. This shows that the conservative always humble the liberal. He basically explained to her that facts don't care about your feelings. If what you believe can't be backed up by other life forms, then it's not right.
What about folks who have wombs but are not women? Like trans people, genderqueer folks. Why do you keep saying women when this issue affects more than women?
Because there are two genders, male and female.
This issue affects more than women. It affects trans men. It affects genderqueer folks.
Women have wombs.
I am not a woman and I have a womb.
You are a woman.
I know.
No. Next question.
Stupid! It amazes me how the easiest questions are so impossible for most woke people to answer. It's a scientifically proven fact that the moment the sperm and egg cells combine into one is the moment life begins. It's funny she looked back to her peers for the answer. It's funnier because her peers have to ask their peers.